All right, thank you for being part of the program and welcome back. We're still on the show, Dialogue in Diaspora, where we're taking a look at issues around the diaspora community and how we're making impacts as members of that community. Joining me on the program today are two Nigerians that are making impacts in this country, both on a corporate and on government level. On the program, we'll be taking a look at what is raging on now in the UK. Of course, it is no longer news. It's everywhere. Maybe this is true or false. Maybe we get to know now that the UK government is deporting 25 or some have said 28,000 Nigerians from the UK. Some have said 25,000 Nigerians from the UK. Some have said 5,000 Nigerians. But the issue is you cannot remove one word: deportation, forceful removal or administrative removal here in the UK now. And also there is another one that goes with it, that certain people cannot be removed or deported from the UK, and such people include people who are from the Commonwealth countries. And in fact, there has been this campaign around that people should get involved or should be registered as British Commonwealth citizenship. And we'll take a look at what is happening around this issue. And of course, there has been this accusation about the Nigeria High Commission. Unfortunately, Nigeria High Commission is not represented here, but in the course of time, we might be able to get through to Nigeria High Commission to explain their roles in Nigerians being deported from the United Kingdom. But this is not the case today because they are not represented. But joining me on the show today, I have Olivia Aluko. Olivia Aluko is a solicitor and a legal practitioner here in the UK. Olivia, thank you for being part of the program today.
Thank you.
And also joining Olivia is Yemisi Jenkins. Yemisi Jenkins is she's a civil servant in this country with the Home Office, and of course she is also the president of ABLE. She's involved in a lot of campaigns encouraging members of the diaspora community, especially Nigerians who do not have that status to officially remain in this country, to do what is appropriate and what is right about their status at the right time. She's been involved in that campaign, and then she's here today to speak to us about this information around deportation or not deportation. Let me start with Yemisi. Yemisi, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Tunde.
28,000 Nigerians to be deported. True, false?
False.
False?
Yes.
I take you for your word, false, because you are in the system.
Not because I'm in the system, because number one, I think people need to understand that in any country, when people are in any country illegally, it is within the government's right to ensure that people in that country are there illegally for so many reasons, most importantly, criminality. Because what we find is that, I'm not saying that people that are in countries, are criminals, but there is some sort of correlation. So it is important that the government manages the people in their country. So as a result of that, it is not about Nigeria alone. There's so many people that are being sent back home. I do not know where this 29,000, 25,000, whatever, came from. Honestly,
It came from the Deputy High Commissioner.
Well, I cannot speak for the Deputy High Commissioner. I can't speak.
Because there was that report that when he hosted the vice president, it did say 28,000 Nigerians to be deported.
Well, just like you said, you probably would have to, have him here to explain to you where he got that information from. But I don't know where that information came from.
Olivia, there has been this issue about people to be deported and not to be deported. You, as a solicitor and a legal advisor, what conditions will one have met for one not to be deported or to be deported or to be administratively removed from any country?
Right. What it is, let's start from UK.
Yes, UK.
Since October 2012, the immigration rules changed for overseers. Well, once you are 28 days beyond your visa, you become an illegal immigrant in UK. Now, there are extenuating circumstances that the Home Office may consider in the light of Article 8, sometimes Article 6, Article 12 on commercial grounds. For example, ill health, it could be that you came from a war-infested country. They would have to consider different things. It could be that you have established family life here, but you have to prove that. But a lot of the times, from what I have seen, quite over 60%, 60 to 70% average don't fulfill that. When it comes to the issue of deportation, they don't just pick you up on the street and just deport you. You know, contrary to the news that is flying around, they just don't pick you up and deport you. You must have done something grave. For example, you may have lied about your papers, you may have done different things. Sometimes it could just be a motoring offense or anything, you know, for you to be detained and argue back and forth. You know, it could even take almost 2 to 3 years before the Secretary of State decides to, grant the removal. And of course, one of the things the Home Office is now saying is that they have a right to deport. Obviously, it's their country. It's not a UK thing. It's not a Nigerian thing. Denmark, Finland, other countries, including Italy recently, have deported Nigerians. And it's not only Nigerians that are being deported. You see, so we should not go on a pity party that, oh, okay, it's Nigerians that are being deported. The rules are getting very strict. And I personally feel so sorry for people that don't have a right to remain in this country. They are sleeping rough. Some of them don't have food to eat. Some of them can't even afford to go to the GP because they are so scary. They are, living, but they are just like a walking corpse. And I would suggest those people to go back home.
I had the first set of guests I got on the program today. I mean, one painted a kind of a situation in Nigeria where you need to be highly connected for you to get anything done in that country. Frustration, unemployment, insecurity, a whole lot of issues. You guys are Nigerians, a whole lot of issues with Nigeria. And a whole lot of issues with undocumented Nigerians in the UK.
Exactly.
Let me pick up from your point.
Yeah.
If the hope in the UK seems very slim, even for the documented ones.
Yeah.
Where do they start from? If their own country, their country of origin, looks unwelcoming.
Can I?
Yeah, chip in.
It's interesting you say that. In recent times, the Home Office have been trying to move away from arrest and detention to what we call voluntary departure. And voluntary departure is where, for example, if I was here as an overstayer, I would go report to the Home Office and say, you know what, I've been staying here for X number or whatever, and I have overstayed. I want to go home voluntarily. The Home Office will look at you and say, okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll put you on the system. There is where if you buy your ticket yourself, you get what we call a 1-year re-entry ban. Go onto Google and type it. There's a lot of information out there. Now, I can tell you, because I'm not here as Home Office, I'm here as ABLE. I can tell you that Nigerians are going home voluntarily. Nigerians are actually going home voluntarily. People are either buying their tickets themselves, or people are actually saying to the Home Office, you know what, I cannot afford to buy my tickets, and then the Home Office will pay for that ticket. But then you get, your re-entry ban then goes up to 2 years. So, yes, I hear you. There is unemployment also in the UK, don't let us forget that. The rate of unemployment, I think people should be aware of that in the UK as well. Back in Nigeria, yes, there's unemployment. Yes, the issue of insecurity. But there are times where we paint Nigeria as if, the country is going into extinction. I think we should, as a group of people, look at areas where, because for example, someone who has lived in the UK for X number of years, when you go back to Nigeria to do a business, obviously the way you will do that business will be different from the way someone who has not left Nigeria. I think the word is packaging, even though you're providing the same service. So there are so many opportunities, but unfortunately, people look at what is here, look at Nigeria and think, okay, you know what, if people want, unfortunately, I have to say it, the easiest way out. There's no easy way out. The rules are there. It is not about Nigerians alone. It's sad, just like Bola said. It is sad that people have, been here for so long and they have to go back home because they're here illegally. What happens is, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of strain on so many things in the society. And we as a people need to take a step back and say, okay, how can we start helping people going back home? Nigeria has a population of what? 160 million people.
Counting.
And I say to people, go into any business in Nigeria, target 1% of that population. Just 1% of that population. And tell me if you're going to make it or not. But if you go in with the view of, I know it all, then people will fail. But if you go in with the view of, I have to learn, I've left this is different from the community I'm coming from, I have to learn. I don't think you have to know everybody and anybody. I think it's because people want to do business with government all the time. Obviously, if you want to do business with government, then you need to know, the big men and the big women there. But if you want to go into maybe service providing, look at whatever state and look at what is missing. Even if they have that service, look at the way of packaging it with the experience in the UK, and you'll see that that is what will sell.
Let me throw this question to you, Olivia. Having left, say for somebody, extra person who probably has left Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon for up to a period of 10 years. And has been a foreign country, say in this case, UK, for that period of 10 years. No contact with Nigeria, no contact with the family members, no contact with anybody, and has been here undocumented. Where does the person start from? You now say the person should go back home. Let's look at the day. Can the person make economic difference? Can the person blend socially?
Right. Yep. The person can blend.
Having been disconnected for about 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
See, to be
on a very sincere level.
Yeah, to be candid, there is nothing difficult. Nigerians when they take up Ghanaians had to blend with Nigerians. So if you are a Nigerian, either you've been away 20 to 25 years, you have to come back to basis. You have to come back to basics.
How do you blend, having left the country for 10, 15 years? How do you go back to basics to say you want to, it's going to be, do you not think the weather, the system, everything would the person fit into that society?
It may take time depending on who you are. I tell you, because Nigerians cluster wherever they are, just like any ethnic community, the same way with Indians or Asians. I mean, in UK, we've got the African shops. We've got our own little community that the British is actually complaining about because we segregate ourselves with our culture, with our traditions, which we do have a little one. So going back home, an average person that's either from the north, south, west, or east will be able to acclimatize. I was in Nigeria a few months ago, and I looked at it. There has been progress made in Nigeria, because what it is that people sell recharge cards, and they eat with recharge cards. So it depends on where you want to come. Come from. Like she did say, a lot of people are looking for government jobs, and a lot of the times people don't want to go back home because of what? Because the people back home, they have a lot of expectations from people that are in Nigeria, and because we want to show off, and sadly, or because people will look down on people that have just come from abroad that have nothing. So it's very difficult for people to go back home, but people can actually go back home with some help. Just like Yemisi did say, if you want to voluntarily depart, you can actually say to them, and they don't just let you off. They give you some money to go back.
I'm going to pick on money.
Yeah.
There has been that accusation against, unfortunately, Nigeria Commission is not here. There has been that accusation against the Immigration Department of the Nigeria Commission that they get money off deportees. I'm going to come back to that. I've got Abiodun on the line. Abiodun, thank you for being part of the program today. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Tunde.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for this. I know I've asked this question in one of your program or the sister program. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go on.
Yes. I want to know what is the state of the Commonwealth has to do in this, because as a member of Commonwealth nation, our great forefathers has contributed immensely into building this nation. And some of our people have come here probably as a student whereby they have come, they've paid their dues, they have worked a little money, they paid their tax, but because of the changing in the rule of immigration, they find them in that predicament. Now they cannot extend their stay or for whatever reason, and they are in this category of people that they have been forced to leave this country. What is the Nigerian government, what is the people that are sitting down there going to do? What is the High Commission is going to do to these types of people? Because they are saying it's very easy to say they should go home, they should go home. Because don't forget that most of them are the ones that are even finding for their own family at home with the little work they are doing. How are they going to, settle back home when they are going, when the government does not even have the political will to accept them, and the people back home does not have the political will to even challenge the government to say this is the way how we can do things and how this change you are all yearning for. Where do we go from here?
All right, thanks so much.
Some of us are just very lucky to be here to have our stay regularized. We are all in the same category.
Thank you, Biodun. Thank you, Biodun. Thank you so much for your contribution. Biodun has put quite a lot of things together. Let's start it from Commonwealth. Now, as Nigeria is a member of the Commonwealth,
Yes.
and this is the head of the Commonwealth, is there any synergy in terms of you being a member of the Commonwealth citizen, living in a Commonwealth country? Does that affect your immigration status as a Nigerian member of the Commonwealth, living in the United Kingdom, head of the Commonwealth nation?
Thank you to Mr.
Biodun
for that call. Now, let me state categorically here, because it's a good thing that he brought in that Commonwealth issue, because there's something going on around now. I don't know if you've seen it, where some people have, started producing a card called British National, and saying that at the back of the card it entitles you to the right of a British citizen. I categorically say that, and people are paying between 150 and 300 pounds, that document is null and void. Please.
What do you mean? Can you come to a simpler language?
Is not recognized by the UK law. Please do not give your hard-earned money to whoever is producing and selling these cards to people, because for me and for Abel, what we strive to do is raise awareness and give people the information they need so that they can make informed judgment. And it saddens us when people, after all said and done, with all the information that is out there, still fall into, because this is purely scamming. I'm sorry, this is scamming people. As a matter of fact, I got a call from a lawyer and I said, give me something. And he said, someone brought this ID card purportedly to be British Commonwealth national to his office to be sworn. The first time the person brought it, because as a lawyer, all he is required to do is just to attest that, the person bringing this documentation is aware that it's true, blah, blah, blah. And, and then this same person brought another person. Then the lawyer got curious and said, let's look at this document. And the lawyer said, sorry, this is, nobody recognizes this. Now, what we have done as an organization is we have sent a question to the new head, the new secretary that was appointed on Friday, to ask about certain questions, even though we know that that ID card does not give you any rights in the UK. It is not recognized by UK laws. That aside, now, as a Commonwealth country, please do not forget that Nigeria is not the only member of the Commonwealth. Just as Nigerians, as I said earlier, just as Nigerians are being, targeted, Indians, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, all other people that have been members of the Commonwealth, it's about the UK ensuring that people here are here legally, because what we have found is that some people get exploited, and we don't seem to see this. Some people know that someone, for example, Mr. A knows Miss B is here illegally. You know what they do? They exploit them. It's part of the thing that forms human trafficking. They exploit them to the point, imagine somebody working for like 15 hours, and at the end of the day, you give the person 10 pounds, just because you know that that person cannot go to the police. So these are some of the things the government is saying, you know what, if you're here illegally, we know people are exploiting you. Human trafficking is part of it. prostitution is part of it, because people know that you cannot go anywhere. And the government is saying, you know what, rather than being in that situation where people are exploiting you, come and talk to us. Yes, there is, we can sit here from now till tomorrow and talk about how Nigeria is not good. But I also told you earlier that I know people, not one, not two, that have gone home in the last 3 months voluntarily. So tell me, these people that have gone home voluntarily, how will they survive? Obviously, there will be a challenge. It's not like the first time people come into the UK. There will be challenges in terms of the weather, you not knowing anyone, and getting acclimatized to the environment. It's the same thing going back home. But when you go back home in dignity, it is better than for you to go home as a deported person. When you go home, let me just correct one thing she said earlier. When it comes to money, voluntary departure does not involve money. Assisted voluntary departure is where people are given money.
That's about what she meant.
Yes,
yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
There are two different things. Assisted voluntary departure is a government initiative where people, usually families, are given X amount of money per individual. Even if you are 10 in that family, each and every member of that family is entitled to X amount of money. So that is there.
Have we actually seen people being given money on assisted voluntary return?
Yes, I can tell you. There was in 2010-11, we went to Manchester to raise awareness in conjunction with FCO, and there was this man who attended. After the event, the guy came up to us, and we referred him to Choices, because Choices is the organization that is handling it for the government. But it will, from 31st of December, the Home Office will now start dealing with it themselves. And this man went home with 4 kids, himself, his wife, and 4 kids. Went back to Nigeria because he said he had just had enough. And so 6 of them collected 1,500 each. Now, somebody said something about the Nigerian £3,000. You know what? I don't know about, I don't see how that is. I don't work for the Nigerian High Commission, let's state that clear. But I know that the British government, because somewhere, I think about 2 weeks ago, somebody was banting something around about the British government colluding with Nigerian High Commission.
Before we go to that, let me put you on hold. I think I've got a call from Emmanuel. We have on the screen now this purported ID card being given to people labeled British Commonwealth National Card, British Commonwealth National Card, and Yemisi Jenkins has said this card is null and void, is illegal, it has no impact, it cannot make a difference, and she said it's all fraud. Okay, Emmanuel, thank you for being part of the program. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Tunde.
Yes,
How are you doing? I greet all your guests over there. Hello?
I can hear you. Go on, Emmanuel.
Yeah, the point is this. You see, when we are talking about the Commonwealth and we are talking about the ID cards, we are talking about the people being deported from United Kingdom, I have to make it clear, Tunde. We are all Nigerians. We understand what is happening. You see, the point is this. We have to be frank and make things work in that country. If Nigerian government did not get the institution right, what I mean by institution right is eco, social, and political aspects of it right, judiciary in particular. We are not heading to any place. Because if a country is built in a very strong institution, there are issues they can challenge. After all, you go to Malaysia, a Nigerian being jailed, or maybe they are going to hang the person. No government speaks anything because our institution is not correct. And except Nigerian government gets its right in their own home soil, all these things will continue to happen. So we have to face the truth. All these, what I will call ordinary people, doesn't even understand the big English, if I will put it in that way. Before the guys who are there with you, they talk about security, they talk about all. You see, if our institution is not gotten right, Nigerians will continue to face the problem they face. The doubt will continue to be there. People don't even if you watch in Nigeria today, you are from Europe. Some people will say you are Yoruba or you are Hausa or you are Igbo and all the rest of them. That ethnic divide is still there, except we erase all these bloody things that is happening in that country. We cannot be respected in any place in the world, and we cannot fortify ourselves to present a common ground to challenge certain issues. It's just like a lot of us, like the guy who are speaking there. Most of us who are in abroad are experts. But when you get to Nigeria, they don't give you the chance because of the system. It's not working. And if we get the system right in Nigeria, either by revolution or otherwise, that is the time international communities will continue to respect the country.
All right, Manuel, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. Manuel, I'm afraid I need to let you go now. I've been told to let you go now. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for your contribution on the program today. Olivia, let me ask you. This ID card, British Commonwealth Citizen Card, is there anything called British Commonwealth Citizen Card? You're a legal practitioner.
Exactly so.
Is there anything like that? Does that give you any cover from arrest, detention, and deportation?
No, it doesn't. Like Yemisi has rightly said, it's a scam. I just heard about it, I think about 48 hours ago. No one has brought such a thing, to our farm, as an exhibit. It's one of the things, people are desperate. It's a desperate system. And unfortunately, people are, playing on the desperation. That. Yeah, unfortunately, they are playing on the desperation of people, People, because of the bad image that has been printed about Nigeria, a lot of people are so scared to return home. And I really wouldn't blame them. It's quite unfortunate because it's no system back home to reabsorb people that are, returning from abroad, either voluntarily or they came in here as students and they want to go back home to integrate into the system, or they've been deported or their visa has expired. That is the unfortunate part of it. But if you're talking about if there is anything like the card that you are talking about, no, and will be a sorry situation if that's not tenable anywhere. It should just have been a waste of money, waste of effort.
Regardless, let me talk to you now, not as able. You are in the system. You are an official. Most Nigerians will have run into you at the border post, at Heathrow, at Gatwick, as an official. This card, does that save somebody from being arrested, detained, and deported? What level of desperation will push anyone to paying as much as £150 for such a card?
Right. Like I said, I'm not here as border force. I'm here as Yemisi Jenkins, able, British.
But you have
yes.
Based on skill, knowledge,
yes.
and expertise.
Yes. Yes.
I know you're not speaking for them.
I'm not speaking for them. But
fortunately, as a Nigerian, you are in that capacity, and you can deliver what is right.
Now, and that is why I said that card is a waste of. Is as useless as the paper is.
If you were to go and arrest somebody, and that person say, no, I'm a citizen of the British Commonwealth and does this in front of me with this card, would that send you away or send the official away?
In fact, would this send the traffic warden away? That's what you should ask. Would it send the traffic warden away? Forget about border force now. Would it send the police away? No. That card is fake. It's a scam. We've actually reported it anyway to the authorities because, like I said earlier, it's about people's vulnerability. When people are vulnerable, you need to see them. I have seen them. When people are desperate, they will believe anything.
Yeah.
And that is what hurts me more, that people are using this desperation. They're playing on people's desperation, which is not fair. You're adding to their agony. You're adding to their pain.
I have listened and watched this. The proprietor of this scheme say that he may have run into a part of the law that is unknown and unexploited. Could that be possible? As a Commonwealth citizen and a professor at law, that he has found something that people are not using in the law. Don't let us forget that the law of this country is unwritten. It evolves. Could it be that indeed he has seen something in the unwritten law of the land that could be exploited?
If there's anything, Nigerian lawyers are fantastic. I can tell you that. Even their counterparts know that. If there is any loophole in the system that our Nigerian lawyers can
We will be
use,
the first to know. Yeah,
they
we
will
would
be the
know.
first to know.
We would know, yeah.
Our boys, our men and women are, good. So trust me, they have not found it. I don't know where this professor. I don't know.
What's your advice?
I mean, the same thing. The first time I had it,
Let's
didn't
see if we
sleep
can
throughout
get the
the
card
night.
on here again. Let's see if we can get. If for any reason you have come across this card, the professionals I've got in the studio, they are saying this card. There's something like British Commonwealth National Card. British Commonwealth National Card.
Right.
If for any reason you have this card with you, or you know anybody who has this card, you want to give us a call, let's share your experience. How did you get this card? How did the person get the card? How much did you pay? Did they tell you this will cover you from being arrested, detained, and prosecuted, or possibly forcefully removed from the United Kingdom? Let's share your experience. You're watching the program. Let's share your experience. Yes.
Yes, I said the first time I did had it, I did my investigation. I did it with my colleagues, over back, in the office, and we couldn't find anything like that. So it was like, well, we don't know where she's coming from. What does she have that we don't have? Because the law is clear for all to see. Even what we call loopholes are not loopholes exactly. They may not be applicable within the immigration law, but then within the human rights law, they are applicable. They are applicable. So, and what people forget is that it's not just only about a card. The Home Office has they have evidence of what they have that they can actually check whether it is true or not. Take, for example, if there's a police check somewhere, just give out your name. They're able to know whether you are here legally or illegally. So where did they get that from? Without even holding a card at all.
Okay, all right. I've got a call coming in. Thank you for being part of the program today. Your name and where you're calling from. From London. Your name, sir?
My name is Daniel.
Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Go ahead and make your point, Daniel.
Yeah, I just want to take part. That's a very good program you are just discussing to the Nigerian public in Biafra. My name is Daniel.
Yes, go on, Daniel.
Yeah, okay. I will be brief. There's nothing like a Commonwealth card. The people should not be deceived because they are desperate or anything. Yeah, I'm talking now. I'm talking to you. There's no any card that can save you for any immigration law. The people should not be deceived. And then again, about when people are being returned to Nigeria, you cannot blame the Nigeria government because most of them didn't tell Nigeria government they are traveling abroad. Or if you are talking about the students that are more or less scholarship something, if they return, the government will be able to look after them. Just let them know that the lawyer are just deceiving them because of their vulnerability and so on like that. If they want to know, I think they can take it on with pen also to let the lawyer there explain the situation to them. So that there is no thing like a Commonwealth card that will allow you to do wrong thing about immigration in Britain, and they will not deport you to Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution on the program, IMC. I've got this question for you. I've had a couple of people complain. They are just visiting. They are on visiting visa. They are visiting. They are not planning to come to the country. They are just here on holiday to do something. But because they flew on first class, British Airways, I've had about 3 of these complaints. They were stopped at entry point, detained, questioned, and subjected to interrogation, including drug tests and all manners of inhuman thing based on why should they become a suspect of drug because on what ground they flew first class or because they flew British Airways? I've had 3 complaints. My question to you is, why would the clearing officer pick on anybody and subject the person to a drug test?
There's always 2 sides to your story. I'm shocked that you said, they said because they flew first class. That is, I'm sorry. I find that very hard to believe, honestly. I find that very hard to believe. I cannot comment on the work I do at the border because I'm not here as a border force officer. But what I say to people is, if you're unhappy with any treatment, and this is what Nigerians don't do, they do not complain. Once you have been, intercepted and you're done with, the officer has done whatever it is they needed to do with it, if you're not happy with it, ask them for a complaint form. They will give it to you, and every officer has a number, is a unique identifier on their epaulets. Please tell them to, write into, Border Force Home Office complaining of their treatment. When people start complaining, but I'm sorry, just saying, because they flew first class, I cannot comment on that, and I can tell you that is not a full story.
Okay, all right, that's not true. But you have actually brought up a point here. If for any reason you have had an inhuman treatment at your entry point of coming into the UK, do complain. Request a complaint sheet, get the officer's name, and make your complaint and send it to the Home Office.
Sorry, they won't give you their name, but there's a unique number.
There's a unique number. There's a unique number. Get note. They won't stop you from writing the unique number.
They will give you.
And they won't stop you from requesting a complaint sheet.
No. It's your right. It's
your right.
Be given to you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So if for any reason you have any family members, friends who have been maltreated at the point of entry, please do request a complaint sheet or speak to your solicitor immediately. Take this up. If people start making complaints about the way they've been treated, that you're coming into the UK does not necessarily mean you want to come out overstay. You have your money. You're probably coming on holiday. If you have been treated in a way you think is dehumanizing, request a complaint sheet and go ahead and make your submission on the show. We're going to take a final break now, and we'll be crossing over to an interview we had that was done with the Nigerian Commission. There has been so many issues around Nigerian Commission, their attitude toward people being deported, attitude toward Nigerians. Let's just have a clip of what their reactions are on this discussion. My name is Tunde Alabi. MC, thank you for being part of the program today. Thank you for being part of the program today. My name is Tunde Alabi again. Until I come away again, do have a very good afternoon. Bye.
So we wanted to clear up some issues. There has been a lot of conversation recently in the British press regarding an agreement that 29,000 Nigerians were to be deported out of the United Kingdom. And as the acting High Commissioner presently at the Nigerian High Commission, can you please enlighten us as to the truth or the reality of that figure of 29,000 to be deported?
Thank you very much. There is no camp or camps holding 29,000 Nigerians. We are not aware of any such deportation. But the figure that initially came up was 25,000. And this figure is based on their own database, what they call the immigration refuser pool.
Okay.
So, and this is people who came in here for one reason or the other. They have stayed their visas, and they have reason to suspect that they are still here. There is no indication that they have left. So there's no physical place holding any Nigerian for deportation. But these people they suspect may still be in the system. Anytime they pick them, they are going to deport them. That's how that figure came about, but
Okay.
there's no.
So there are not, so 29,000 Nigerians are not likely to be realistically removed.
No.
soon.
No.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. Now, a day ago, as it were, the BBC ran a story that 500 Nigerians were deported on a plane to Nigeria. This again has ignited conversations within the Nigerian community. Some asking, is a plane big enough to take 500 people at the same time? We know that the BBC have retracted the story to say only 49. But again, in your position, as one that is, here concerned about the welfare of Nigerians, when you heard 500, what did you, what were what did you think about that?
Well, my first reaction is that it's just a fictional figure in the air. Because for every flight that leaves the UK for Nigeria, there is an officer from the mission here that is on board. We normally have a manifest. We have a list. So for the flight that left and arrived at Abuja yesterday morning, it has been confirmed to me that there are 48 Nigerians.
Oh, 48.
Again, let me clarify this. When there is a flight leaving the UK, there could be more people on board because not everybody who is on board gets to leave the aircraft in Nigeria. If they don't have enough Nigerians to deport, they add some West African countries like Ghana, they could join the flight. So people get this impression. But for yesterday, even on that flight, I understand there were 48 Nigerians, not 500.
And as I said, the report was by the BBC that 500 had been deported. Is the mission going to do anything to ask the BBC to at least ensure that they put the right information out?
Well, it's good they have retracted the information, and many other media houses are even going back on the earlier report of 500. So I think we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's also been some reports about, different groups have turned up and protesting outside the mission, primarily because of the 29,000 figure. What is the message that the mission is putting out there to the community?
I want to say clearly that if their demonstration is based on an expected deportation of 29,000 Nigerians, then they have got it all mixed up. Like I said earlier, there are no 29,000 Nigerians waiting for deportation. So if they have more evidence, then maybe they should approach us and let us know. But on our part, we have worked with the UK government based on an existing memorandum of understanding between Nigeria and the UK. And it's interesting that I think on the list of people deported from the UK, Nigeria comes number 4. There are other countries before Nigeria. We only get.
All right, welcome back. I can assure you that we'll take this interview with Nigeria Commission at a later date interview. And we will be doing some extensive research with Nigeria Commission. Loads of complaints against Nigeria Commission. Very many people have actually recommended that it should be shut down. But at appropriate time, we'll be giving you more information about them. I have joining me in the studio now another set of professionals in the UK who are in the studio. I have Mrs. Bilkis Savage. Thank you for being part of the program. And I have a friend and a gentleman here also, Emmanuel, who is of BIG, British Nigerians in Government. That's I know you. And I also know you to be a member of ABU as well. Thank you for being part of the program.
Thank you.
I have Professor Alessia on the other side. Professor Alessia Thomas has been involved in this Commonwealth British ID card. Well, glad to have you. Professor Alessia, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Yes, Tunde. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing very well. Prof,
yes.
You are behind this British Commonwealth National ID card.
Yes.
How legal is this action of yours? What can this your ID card do?
First of all, I think I have an issue with you. I remember that I've been watching your program, and I see that you guys come on air to talk nonsense. You guys don't know the law. You get some crazy lawyers who lack education, who comes on your program like puppets, aiding and abetting these scrupulous immigration officers who don't even know the law. We are talking of treaty. Treaty is a bond, and treaty must stand. The lady coming on seat to call herself Yemisi Jenkinson sat down, set up some scrupulous organization calling themselves ABU. a charity organization wanting to take us, that we are an opposition.
The issue here, Prof, is...
Hold on.
Prof, I want you to just answer this question straight. We haven't got the time. What is the legality behind this card?
Getting my voice on your program is a honor to you, because I don't call to talk because I'm not looking for any stupid publicity. But let me pass the message straight. Yemisi Jekins is in trouble. She is an enemy of the Nigerian people. The British Commonwealth National Card is a mandate. The British Commonwealth National Card is an enforcement. Some group of people woke up and set up the EU, European Union.
I don't want you to Prof.
Listen to me, my dear. Hold on. Yes, hold on. Yemisi Jekins came.
I don't want you to pick on an individual. I'm afraid I may have to call this interview if you want to start picking on individual, because nobody picked on you.
If you don't want to pick on individuals, she came there and said, Ebu, and you allowed her to show the ID card on your station to deform the image of the Nigerians you are protecting.
But nobody's image was shown on that ID card, and nobody mentioned your name.
Why not? Tunde Alabi, listen, I sent you a full information you were privileged to have that has gone to all the government agencies. The British Commonwealth National Card is an enforcement mandate. For the first time, the Commonwealth nation and the British nation are being brought as two sovereignty standing as a mandate.
That mandate is under what authority? What can that card do?
The mandate is under the authority of the treaty, and the treaty must stand. Every time you bring a lawyer, they talk about Home Office said this, Home Office said that. What are we talking about?
This is my question to you, Prof.
Yes?
What power do you have, or does that organization have, or does that ID card have to enforce the treaty?
We are not an organization. We are an opposition government. It's like talking about the Labour government. The difference between a ruling government and the opposition government is that the ruling government is in power. The opposition government is not in power. Both governments have the same power. One is ruling, printing the money and spending the money. One is not in power and has no money to spend. One must be intelligent than one. The lawyers for the first time are going to go back to school. We need to teach them. Enough is enough. The Nigerians are dying in detention. Let that Yemisi Jekins, whoever the conspirators they are conspiring with, it has come to an end. We have the investigation page. The Commonwealth Liberation Party website has an investigation page.
Prof, I have read a couple of your articles. You did accuse the Nigeria High Commission. Unfortunately, they are not here. But if they are watching this program, just where you picked on it, I hope they will be able to respond. Prof, this is my question. You have accused the Nigeria High Commission of collaborating with the UK Border Force of extorting deportees.
Okay, now, so to make it easy, like I said, calling your program is to give it some kind of, like I'm doing you a honor to speak with you. Listen to me, I don't believe in talk too much, I believe in action. What I'm going to advise you to do, go to the Commonwealth Liberation Party website, go to the investigation page. For the first time, I have opened my library archive of the atrocities and the covert operation that has been going on since 2008. Yemisi Jekins sits there giving immigration advice.
Okay, let me put you on hold, Prof, so that I have people in the studio. Prof, stay online. Don't go yet.
Okay, Prof, all the Nigerian people, I fight their battle. Not the lawyers who are giving them advice. Like I said to the I don't want to talk too much. Go to the party website. I
want you to stay on the line. Prof, I want you to stay on the line. Okay?
It's a honor.
I want you to stay on the line. Just stay on the line, Prof.
Because you're not paying for my knowledge. So it's a honor. And you must respect that, okay?
Prof, I want you to stay on the line. I'm not sure you have checked your LinkedIn this morning, have you?
So before I stay on the line, do you agree I'm doing you a honor to talk on your program?
All right, Prof, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Prof. Just stay on the line, Prof. You have heard Professor Salesia's story that the card is to enforce a treaty. You are a magistrate. I mean, you are of able. Yes. You are conversant with the law of the land. Yes. What is the legal basis? Is it an enforceable treaty?
As far as I'm aware, the card has no legal basis it doesn't confide any authority to anybody to live in this country. It has no legal basis as far as I'm aware. We've highlighted the issue to the Home Office and they're aware of it. So it's just to let people know we're trying to create awareness on the legal side that whoever has been issued that card should be aware he has no legal authority within UK immigration law. And as far as people also should be aware that if they have no legal basis to be in this country, they should apply to the Home Office, not be buying that card. That card has been created by certain people with the intention of giving authority to people, or it has no legal basis as far as I'm aware.
She spoke about enforcing treaty.
Yeah.
What is there something like that as a Commonwealth citizens?
Well, she has made many claims, and none of which have been or can be verified. And one of the claims she made is that she's an opposition party. Who made her an opposition party? Is she a registered party in the UK, or does she mean she's an opposition party in another country? And when you look at some of the spurious assertions that have been made on their website, you're going to wonder whether this is actually a joke or whether it's something for real. Because I could read from her message, say we are enforcers of justice and shall propagate the human rights police and enforcement of the manifesto mandate.
So you just on the line.
Mandate 21st century justice, the bill and right of the people. Appraiser is it doesn't make sense. It's just like somebody blabbing about things that they cannot actually do. I've not seen any tangible legal evidence or tangible anything that anybody could use in order to hold on to everything that she's been talking about.
Put on hold. Prof.
Tunde,
Yes, Prof.
Tunde, listen, after this program, we would assist you to make a better platform. And before you invite anybody on your program, they need to be knowledgeable enough. If not, they are coming to brainwash the brainwash. So what we are doing is on brainwashing what they are brainwashing. Look at that woman talking.
No, Prof, I'm not going to take that from you. I have the right to cut you off the phone. I still hold on to you respecting the views of my viewers.
Listen to me.
And my guests.
Program. Hold on. Hold on. He is talking.
Can I, Prof, for the purpose of my viewers, this is a TV station, you're limited, you claim human right, you're limited by use of language. Can I just ask you to apologize to my viewers at home for that use of language?
The fact that he accuses us is already political gangsterism. So she is the first to insult us. So that's what you call blackmail and defamation of character. Every information is there. I have a document I'm going to publish today. First of all, we are going to be doing a disclaimer. I'm publishing the document from the Foreign Affairs Commission. The Commonwealth Foreign Affairs Commission accepted the enforcement of this.
Professor, what we are saying is this. First, let me say to our viewers that I don't know if I should be saying I'm finding it hard to. Look, Prof, you need to mind your language. I don't want to start apologizing on your behalf.
When you invite
please, Prof, what I want you to do is this. Could you...
Tunde, when you invite political gangsters in your program, that's what you will get. Those people, they are gangsters being paid to come there and discredit our reputation. These people lack education, and it shames me so much that you can invite illiterates on your program. We are talking of treaty. You are telling me policy. What are we talking about? Tunde, get some education. You and all your team, shut up that program now, because if not, all of you guys are going to be in trouble. This is war against humanity. This is justice for humanity. We will see all
Okay, all right, Prof. I'm sorry. I need to let you go now. We do apologize for Professor Alessia Thomas's use of language on this program. Thank you, Prof. Thank you for your contribution on the show.
I mean, what can you say, really? Because as far as one should be clear about, in the interest of the public of Nigeria, in the interest of everybody that lives in this country, they should be aware of the law. They should approach the Home Office. They should go onto the website. If by any chance they come across this card, should know this card is not legal, and that's what we're as member of the community are trying to create awareness that this card is not legal.
Yeah. And people also need to be aware and do a little bit of background check on this organization. And part of the thing, when they put about us on their website, part of what they say is we are the brigadiers steering the affirmation of the Battle of Armageddon. We are duty-bound to disband democracy and mandate of the act of politics. It's just rabble-rousing, gobble-the-gook that doesn't make sense. So everything that she's been talking about, she has not given any legal basis for what she's doing. This is a country that is governed by law. And she cannot just come around and say that she can do this, she can do that, she has this mandate, she has that mandate. What conferred the mandate? Who gave her the mandate? And who is the enforcer of that mandate? That has not been clarified. So we just want to let people know that there is nothing that can come out of that card, and people should stop paying for it, and she needs to understand that she's just doing what cannot be sustained by any means of the law at all.
All right. It's been a pleasure having At some point, we may bring Professor Alexia Thomas herself on the show for my viewers at some point in this program. Okay, we'll continue the show later when we come back in the afternoon. In the meantime, let's quickly take a break and we'll be back at 2 o'clock. We'll let you go. Do have a very good afternoon. Thank you for being part of the program.
Thank you very
much
much.
For being part of the program.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the afternoon until we come at 2 o'clock.
Thank you.